Welcome back to Citizen Arcane, where normally we talk about sports and books and a few other things that I enjoy. But today is our annual Lil Devil Awards, where I talk about the best and sometimes worst of what I read in the previous year. So 2022 was not a great year for me when it comes to reading. My goal usually is about a book a week, and I didn't make it last year, which hasn't happened for a long, long time. I only read 42 books according to my Goodreads account, and I marked some of that off to some disruptions in life, just basic stuff. We had a pretty, I don't know, it was unlike the previous year where I did have some downtime and I really burned through them, but this year, just a lot happened, and I just attribute it to that. But here we go. I wanted to just have a quick chat about the category, the best alternative medium book. I read Nobody's Fool, which I read as a graphic novel on the Kindle. I sort of thought that it was going to be not the best experience because just the nature of a Kindle, but it really turned out better than I thought. It was pretty fluid. It allowed me to zoom in and go out. And also I noticed that I read it more slowly than I had read traditional graphic books. But basically, it spends most of its time talking about Schlitzie, who was a pinhead. And, it's only a few years ago that the Zika virus, I think it was called, where mosquitoes were transmitting this, and babies were born with microencephaly. Schlitzie wound up living into their 70s, and it is not as tragic a tale as you might think. There was some joy in there, but again, the book itself was well written, well illustrated, and the way it played out was pretty good too. Okay. The book that spent the longest on my to-be-read list but was worth the wait was Chinatown War. Really enjoyed that. I got a lot more out of it than I thought I would. I sort of went in knowing just a little bit about this incident that happened in California, kind of in the Old West period, certainly before modern Los Angeles became what it is. Well worth the read. If you get a chance and you're interested in all in that, I would say go for it. And next up is my sports history category. So most of what I read is history, and I complain every year that I'm reading too much depressing stuff. And that's just, I think, the nature of history. But I have had some good experiences recently, and I'm on sort of a vein of reading material. And so I read Wheelers, Dealers, Pucks and Bucks, A Rocking History of Roller Hockey International. Really got a lot out of it. I happened to go to several St. Louis Vipers games when they were around, including after I left St. Louis, I was living in Arizona, and I traveled all the way to Las Vegas, and I remember that game. It was in a casino on like a gym floor. It was the money was not spent there, but it was kind of a roll down memory lane, and I learned really a lot about how that whole thing came about and was marketed. It could have been successful. I've done another video about roller hockey today. I think it could come back and be a good fan experience with the right leadership. But I've also last year read War on the Average Guy Plays Arena Football and Lives to Write About It, which unfortunately I spent a lot of time talking about this guy's feelings, but it was about the Albany Firebirds and Arena League football, which again I've had many, many positive experiences with. I've had a lot of fun with that league and others, but that was the first one, and I think one of them where they had the delusions that it could really turn into something big and not be a niche sport. That was fun. So I do have some nominees for my best history in general, and one of those is Lynch Street, the May 1970 slayings at Jackson State College. I think Jackson State College is the one that has recently been in the news because Deion Sanders was coaching there. I want to make a video eventually because I think he did a really good job. I think he did 3 years of a 4-year contract, and brought about their visibility, and it laid the groundwork for what could be some great games. As a fan, I would love to see them play like North Dakota State. That would be fun, and I think it could be a good game. And I was really surprised because it happened so close to the Kent State killings, and that's one of the things that this book goes into, is how it was treated in the media differently when they were just about 11 days apart, as I understand it. The saddest book that I think read in some ways was Street Players by Donald Goines. And that's because I have now read all 17 of the Donald Goines and Donald Goines attributed books. So there will be no more of that for me. And lastly, the most surprising book on my list is Gateway to Pangaea by Ross Kester. I'm not a big sci-fi guy. That book came to my table and I read it again on the Kindle. And I was just really surprised at how much I enjoyed it, how much it was very well written. It was not the traditional sort of sci-fi experience. It was unique. It was fun. It was quirky in a lot of ways, and it allowed me to sort of dive into a story that I normally would not have dived into. Again, Gateway for Pangaea was a lot of fun. Drum roll, please. The best book of the year overall, usually I go with like what is the most enjoyable for me, or what I think is like the most significant. So this year, even though I really did enjoy Why Didn't You Get Me Out by Frank Anton, which gave me a lot of information that I had been looking for in other POW books, and especially defectors or crossovers as they're referred to in this book, I'm still going to have to go with the best book of the year as The Brothers, John Foster and Alan Dulles, and their Secret World War, because it just really hit the nose on the head. It's sort of a little confirmation bias, because I've always felt that those two in particular were at the heart of a lot of historical ills, and they did it with this just unbelievable moral certitude that came from being surrounded by missionaries and millionaires as children. But anyway, that's my best of the year. Again, is The Brothers. Just one quick note, if you enjoy this kind of content, please do like, subscribe, share, but also I'm really hoping to get more comments in the comments section. If you have like your yearly assessment of what you've read, I'd love to hear about that. Also, if you get the time, please do click on some of our links below, and have a great day.